All right. Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Karthik, and I am the current co-organizer of GDG on campus RMSIT. And today we have a session on competitive program. And the two speakers of this event and this session are MS and Suhas, who are both part of our CP club. And both have a rating of so TMS has a rating of 1,448 on Codeforces, and Suhas has a rating of 1,332 on Codeforces. And Suhas is also one of the winners of the Code Flick chapter as a club, and Dhruthi is the current ML lead of GPT and also part of the CP domain. And I'll let them take over from now.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Karthik, for that wonderful introduction. We'll start off with our session, Introduction to Competitive Programming. I'll just share my screen. Let me know if it is visible for you guys. Is my screen seen? Can I get a yes or no in the chat box? Please use the YouTube chat box. Yes, okay. Amazing, guys. So we'll start off. So what is competitive programming, first of all? So as the name itself suggests, it's programming in a competitive environment. So it is like a mind sport where you'll be given an abstract problem statement and you need to come up with logical solutions for that problem and write a code for it. And you won't just solve standalone problems here. You will eventually end up participating in contests, right? So particular contests, particular contests, there will be a set of problems that will be given. And the person who solves the most number of problems will be ranked the highest. Say, if two people solve the same number of problems in a contest, then the person who solves them the fastest will be ranked higher. So in any of these competitive programming platforms, you will be assigned a rank to you, okay, based on how you perform in contests and things like that. So it can be 500, or it can be 1,000, or it can be 1,500, and so on. So if you perform well in a particular contest, then your rating will go up. And if you don't perform that well in a particular contest, then your ratings will go down. So the skill level of a candidate will be judged based on the rating they have on platforms like these. Okay, so that is how this whole field becomes competitive. So competitive programming basically includes DSA plus mathematics. So when I say mathematics, it is not just basic mathematics. It's complex, like it is advanced level of mathematics, which includes discrete mathematics, number theory, and things like that. And when I say DSA, it obviously includes the standard data structures and algorithm. And you need to be aware about both of these to be able to program, like be a part of the CP aspect. So that is how things will go. Now, you might ask me, why do you need competitive programming, right? So first of all, it improves your problem solving skills. And another big reason why people do CP is because it is a huge add-on to your resume. And apart from the ratings part that I told you, all of the contests such as the Facebook HackerUp, ICPC, Google Kickstart, and all, whenever you get a good rating in these contests, you can put them up in your resume. And this clearly shows that you are a good problem solver to the interviewer. So even in all of these FANG companies and all, they look for these skills. These skills are the base that serve you in your entire career. And this will be the base foundation for you guys. So that is how important it is. And now I'll walk you through the top CP platforms. So firstly, I'll start off with Codeforces. I think the screen is visible. Can I get a yes or no in the chat? Am I audible? Yes. Okay. Thank you, guys. So this is the actual page of Codeforces. So I already have an account here, so I directly logged into it. If you guys don't have an account, go to codeforces.com and create your own account. So this is how the home page would look like. And this is the place where the announcement and related to contests or events or anything as such will be put up in the home section. On top, you can see all of these sections. We'll go through all of these one by one, and I'll explain it to you guys what each of them mean. Okay, so this is with the home tab. Next, moving on, we have the top section, which consists of the recent blogs, wherein people will put in blogs on specific topics or anything as such. So all the recent blogs will be posted here. Next, we have the catalogs. Again, this also has blogs, and there will be general advices that people give to the community based on their experience. Like, you can see it here, like how to read a problem statement, how is that you come up with solutions, and what are the techniques you're supposed to be aware of when you're coming up with a solution. So all of these will be displayed here. So these tabs are not that important. So coming to the main important aspect of this platform is the contest tab. So this is the place where the current or the upcoming contests will be displayed and the past contests will be displayed. This is all the details of the contest. And before participating in any contest, you will obviously have to register to it, and you will have to see the date and time. So in India, the contest dates basically starts at 8 o'clock 5 minutes, and that is how it is. And coming to the past contests, these are the contests that have already happened before. So I'd like to show you guys with one of the contests. So before going to the actual contest thingy, there are 4 divisions that you need to be aware of. It is div 1, div 2, div 3, and div 4. Right now, I'll show you the div 4 contest environment. So this is how the contest environment will look like. So these are the set of problems. They have given 7 problems for this div 4 contest, and these are the problem statement names. These are the problem numbers, and this indicates the submission status, and this indicates the number of people who have solved this problem. So coming to the submission status, you can see this green highlight, right? So if this green highlight is seen, it means that the solution, whatever you have submitted for that particular problem, is correct and it has passed all the test cases. Likewise, if the color is red, it means that the problem failed in a few test cases and it should be optimized so that it becomes accurate. So I'll show you how a problem would look like. So this is how the problem structure would look like. Any problem obviously will have a problem name, will have the problem statement. Always the first 4 lines or the first 3 lines of the problem will always explain about the problem statement itself, meaning that the problem setter will explain in detail about the scenario of this problem. So this is where the explanation part comes in. And we have the input format, we have the output format, and we have sample input and output cases. So I'll explain to you guys in detail about all this while I am solving the problem. Right now, just know that this is the actual structure of how the problem would look like. Next, moving on, we have the problem set section, wherein you can access a variety of problems of different rating. By rating of a problem, I mean that every problem will be given a particular rating based on its difficulty level, meaning whether a problem requires like usage of a lot of data structures to solve it, or whether it is normal, very basic, straightforward approach to solve it. So based on that criteria, a rating will be assigned. So rating can go from 800 to 3500 in this platform, where 800 is the easiest and 3500 is the hardest. So, and one more important thing you need to know is there are something called as tags here. Okay, so tags basically are whenever we go through a problem, every problem will have a particular concept on which it is weaved upon, right? So those particular concepts are told to be as tags. Okay, so here in the right side corner, you can see something called as filter problems. So if I click on this one, you can see all the tags which are available here. There is 2SAT, binary search, bit masks, and brute force, number theory, and things like that. Say, for example, now I choose brute force as my tag and I apply it. Okay. So this particular thing will sort all of the problems which were available earlier based on this tag brute force, and it will display to me the problems which actually have brute force as their tags. So this is the problem number, this side, and this is the problem name. And these small gray color text they are the tags associated with that particular problem. So as you can see, triple attack is one problem wherein it is weaved upon these concepts: brute force, data structures, DP, greedy, trees, and two pointers. And as I said earlier, this indicates the submission status, and this is the rating. These are the number of people who were able to solve this problem. And I can also sort this in decreasing or increasing order. So for this particular tag, 3500 is the maximum difficulty level, uh, which on which the problem is present, and the easiest is obviously 800. So this is how it is. And if you click on any problem, it is going to again show you the problems. You can go through the problem and solve them. So that is one thing. And moving on. So this is my profile. As you can see in the right side, you can see something called as top rated performers. So these are the people who have maximum rating on this platform. So the first person is Jiangli. I'll click on her profile. So this is her profile. She has a rating of 3.7K and a max rating of 4K. And this is her graph, and this is the heat maps. I'll explain to you what these graphs mean. You can see these numbers here, right? Initially, I told you that based on your performance in contests and all, you will be assigned with ratings, right? So if your rating lies between 0 to 1200, then you will be named as a newbie. So for every rank you have, every rating you have, you will be given a name. It can be newbie, it can be pupil, it can be specialist, it can be an expert, it can be a master, grandmaster, legendary grandmaster. So the naming convention here is similar to that of in chess. So as you can see here, this person has registered 7 years ago. So CP is not like 2 or 3 weeks of work you put in. It's like years of work that you put in, which comes together. So earlier I mentioned about the contests such as ICPC, Google Kickstart and all. So these are the people who will be able to top it because they have years of consistent efforts, and that is what the contest actually demands for, right? And that is one thing. And as you can see, this person has solved 6,000 plus problems here over the span of 7 years. And this is about the profile of the top coder. Coming back, I'll show you guys my profile. This is my profile. I have a rating of 1246, max of 1248. So this is my graph, and this is the heat map. So it took me 437 problems to reach this particular rating, but it will vary for people, right? So for me, it took me so much. For somebody else, they might reach the same ranking as mine. within 300 problems, or somebody might take more problems. So it depends on people, right? So it is like how you approach, how is your understanding, how is your base foundation. So it depends on that. So this is how things work. And yeah, so this was the brief walkthrough. Now I'll solve a small problem for you guys. Earlier I showed you the contest, right? Before we can solve the first problem over there. Sublime sequence. So this is the problem which we will be solving. Okay. I'll just share this problem at the end of the session. You guys can go through it and solve it on your own. Right now, I won't be able to share it. I had to share it before, but it's not a problem. I'll explain to you guys how this problem statement goes about it. So the problem statement name is sublime sequence. So as I said earlier, the first 4 lines or 3 lines of the problem statement is the problem statement explanation, wherein the problem setter explains about what the actual scenario of the problem is. Then comes input, output, and the sample input and output cases. So let's just read the problem first. Farmer John has an integer x. He creates a sequence of length n by alternating integers x and minus x, starting with x. For example, if n is equal to 5, the sequence looks something like x, minus x, x, minus x, and x. He asks you to find the sum of all integers in the sequence. Input: the first line contains an integer t ranging from 1 to 100, which indicates the number of test cases. The only line of input for each test case is 2 integers, x and n, x greater than 1 and n lesser than 10. Output: for each test case, the output the sum of integers in the sequence. So they're asking this way. Before I note down and go in detail about the problem, I need to tell you guys this. So basically, the first thing you need to know is you need to have a very good grip on at least one programming language. Preferably it is C++ or Java. Python also you can go with it, but you cannot solve highly complex problems using Python. You can solve very easy, basic kind of problems using Python. But for CP, I'd highly suggest C++ or Java. Once you have a strong knowledge upon one programming language, you can go about it very easily. Now, coming back to the problem. So what does this problem actually ask? So they say we have been given with an integer x, which is any value, and n, which indicates the length of the sequence, right? And they're telling we need to find the sum in this format, keeping x as the value. X is the first thing, as they have mentioned here. You need to find the sum such that it starts with x. Okay, so the first number in the sum that you take should be x. So that is what they need. So the format will be this part. Okay, so I'll write it down here. The sum will be x plus of minus x plus of minus x, like this, so on, until the number of x you use in this sum reaches to nth number. Okay, so that is how it is. And moving on, that was the basic idea they gave in the problem statement description. Moving on to the input format, they say the first line contains an integer t, which ranges from 1 to 100, which indicates the number of test cases. So they say t is ranging from 1 less than equal to t less than equal to 100. So what are test cases basically? So test cases are specific sets of inputs which are used to check if a program runs correctly or not. Okay, I'll explain in detail about all the test cases while I am explaining about the input and output sample things. When I come here, I'll explain to you guys in detail. So right now, just understand there are a set of different inputs that evaluate the accuracy of your problem. Okay, that is one thing. Then I'll explain to you guys about how this problem actually works. Here they have given, for example, n is equal to 5, right? So we'll say n is equal to 5. We can take any random value as x. Say x is equal to 2. Okay, so now what are they telling? Now I need to find the sum keeping x in mind, and I have to add it 5 number of times. Okay, in this format. Right? Did you guys understand till now? Do you have any doubt or anything as such? Can I get something in the chat box? Guys, reply. Am I audible? Have you guys understood till now? Hello. All right. So you need to find sum keeping x value in mind and adding it 5 number of times. So it is 2 plus of minus 2 plus 2 plus of minus 2 and plus 2. So I've reached the count 5 and 2 is my actual number. So what will be the result of this? So plus 2 minus 2 will get cancelled. So the result would be my result would be 2. So you can see that in the input format, they have mentioned a test case. I mean, they've given an input 2, 5, 2 and 5, and the output is 2. That is the sum we got. And here in the input sample, what they have given is first, they have mentioned the test case as they've given in the input format. Test cases are 4. Okay, so 4 test cases, meaning I will be accepting 4 different inputs in that particular run of the code. So you can see here in the left side, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they have given 4 inputs here. So that is what the number 4 indicates. So for all of these inputs, these are the corresponding outputs. Okay, so for the one input case, we figured it out. For another one, say I'll take the first input example here. N is equal to 4 and x is equal to 1. Okay. Now the sum would be, as we figured it out earlier, 1 is the number and we need to add it in the format that is specified, plus 1 minus plus of minus 1. So the sum of this will be 0. Okay, so 1 and 4, the output is 0. Similarly, for 3 and 6 and for 4 and 7, 0 and 4 is the output. Okay, one thing you need to notice here is that in any problem, the first thing is understand the base logic. Later on, identify patterns in it. Okay, so here, notice that the n value is 4. So 4 is even. So if we take mod of 2, 4 mod 2, that would give us 0, right? Because the remainder is 0. So that 0 itself is displayed as the sum here. So that is the main logic here. So if you take mod 2, that will result to 0 if the number n is divisible by 2. So, and if that is the case, then 0 itself is the output, which is represented as the sum. Whereas, use this one. We have taken n is equal to 5, right? So n mod 2, 5 mod 2 is not equal to 0. So in such cases, we output the value of x itself as the sum. You can see here, right? So see this, a 5 and 2 is the value here, 2 and 5. X value is 2, n value is 5. 5 mod 2 is not equal to 0. So you output the value of 2 itself. So 2 is outputted here, right? Similarly, for 1 and 4, x value is 1, n value is 4. 4 mod 2 is equal to 0. Since it is equal to 0, the output is also 0. So that is the main pattern that we identify here. So I hope this is clear. I'll move on with actually coding the solution. Have you guys understood till now? Reply, guys, come on. Yes or no or anything. Is it being fast or am I being too slow? How is it? All right. Come on, guys, reply in the chat. Hello, guys, I need some reply. Say yes or no or anything. Put it up in the chat box, in the YouTube chat box. All right. Okay, I think I'll show you guys the solution. So coming with the solution part. So in the problem itself, they have mentioned about the test cases, right? So the first input will be the test cases. So I'll be solving this in Python since our majority of our audience know Python itself. So, but I'll show you my C++ solution for this as well. So again, coming back, the first line of input will be the test case. So I'll input the test case in Python. So t is my variable. So t is equal to int of input. So that is my first line. Second line will be the for loop. So I want to traverse through every line of input that I given, right? So if I give 1 and 4, I need to be able to traverse through 1 and 4 individually. So that is why I am using a for loop. And you might ask, why is that I've used underscore here? Because my main objective here is to not focus on the loop variable itself. I just want the loop to run so many number of times. See, for example, they have given 4 as the number of test cases here. So my loop has to run 4 times in order to accept 4 different input values. So the main agenda here would be the loop running 4 number of times, not the loop variable itself. So that is why I have used underscore here. And moving on, I will have to now accept the values of x and n, right? So I'll accept it using x comma n is equal to map of int comma input dot split. So I'll explain what this line of code exactly does. So basically now, what does split function do? Split function, it takes in whatever input you give it, and it will split it in the form of list. Say, for example, here is where I am taking the input, right? Here I'll enter 1 and 4, 1 space 4. So that will be accepted in the form of string. So what will be accepted using the input function? 1 space 4. So that is what is accepted. Now if I do dot split onto this string, so what will be my output? It will be a list containing individual string elements which were there in the entire string. So a list of 1 as a string and a list of 4 as a string. So this will be the output for the string alone here. Okay, for the split function alone here. Okay, so I'll rewrite this line with this part of the solution. So x comma n is equal to map of int comma the list 1 comma 4. Now how does map function actually work? Now map function is usually used for mapping purposes. So what it does here is, you can, as you can see, inside the map function we have passed 2 parameters. One is the data type, another one is the list. So what it does is, it takes integer data type and it applies to the every individual element of the list that is mentioned sequentially to it, right? So, and this will output an integer. Why? Because the data type which I've mentioned is integer. So what will be the output of this line of code? X comma n will be equal to integer of int of string of 1 is nothing but integer of 1 comma, and int of string of 4 is nothing but 4. So x comma n is equal to 1 comma 4. So that is what exactly I'm doing here. That is how the x value is equal to 1 and n value is equal to 4. So this is the line of code which I'm using to accept the input in this format. Okay, so that is this. And as I mentioned earlier, this was for the accepting of the input. The main logic is this one: n mod 2, if it is equal to 0, you have to print 0 itself. If it is not equal to 0, you have to print the value of x, as I explained it here. So it is simple. It is if n mod 2 is equal to 0, then you print 0, else you print x. So this makes our entire code. Okay, now I shall run this code for these sample inputs and check if the output of this code actually matches with the sample output. Okay. Okay, as you can see here, number of test cases t is accepted to be 4. And the first input case, 1 and 4, the output is 0. Output is 0 here as well. 2 and 5, the output is 2. Similarly, for 3 and 6, it is 0. For 4 and 7, it is 4. So my output exactly matches with the sample output. And now I'll explain to you guys about the test cases, as I mentioned earlier while I was explaining about this part. So the edge case of this particular problem can be taken this way. Suppose n is given as the smallest odd number. So the n value will be equal to 1. And say I'll take any random x value, x is equal to 10. Now I'll check 1 mod 2, is it equal to 0? No, it is not equal to 0. So the output sum will be equal to the value of x itself, right? So we can check this also. So 10 and 1 is the input. And this number of test cases is 1. X value is 10. N value is 1. So the output is 10 itself, which is the value of x. again, another case. If n is taken to be the smallest even number, then n will be equal to 2. So again, I can take the same x value, x is equal to 10, and n mod 2, that is 2 mod 2, is equal to 0. So my sum would be again equal to 0. You can check this one as well. So it is 10 and 2, 1, 10. Oh, this 1, 10 space 2. So the output is 0. So this was one problem. This is how it works. So this was the basic walkthrough through the Codeforces platform and one problem we have solved. Now I'll walk you through the CodeChef platform real quick. So here too I have an account already, so I have tried it. And guys, do you have any questions related to the code or related to the problem or anything as such? You can put it up in the chat box. I'll look into it and answer you guys. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions, guys? Put up a yes or no in the chat box. All right, then I'll assume that you guys have understood it properly. So moving on, this is the CodeChef platform. This is how the UI looks like. I already have an account here, so I've logged in directly. So I'll just give you a very quick walkthrough of how things work in CodeChef. So this is the courses part, wherein you can access different courses and strengthen your basic learning of a language. You can learn Python, C++, or Java, or anything like that. You can click on that. You can resume your learning or start your learning. And it is going to explain to you about a series of modules wherein you'll understand the basic concepts and things like that. Here, they ask you to print a simple number or print an integer, and they're going to ask you basic stuff, which will help you to build your base knowledge in the language itself. And this is one thing which you can do and explore. And coming to practice, so it is similar to how it was in Codeforces. So you can access a set of problems and which range from beginner level to intermediate to hard level, and you can solve them to strengthen your knowledge in any language or anything as such. You can solve on data structures as well here. So explore this courses and start off with your learning journey. Coming to the compete section, this is where the contest entire details will be displayed. This is the ongoing contest, this is the upcoming, and these are the past contests. So the contests ENV, like environment, would look like this. If you click on div 4, the div 4 questions will be visible. You can click on any question you want, and the format will be the same. All of the constraints, the input format, output format, all of those things will be given. You'll have to go through the problem, analyze the patterns, and then code accordingly. So that is how it works. And coming back, we have the compiler section, wherein it is just a compiler wherein you can type your code and run it here itself. In the previous problem which I solved, I opened VS Code and solved it, right? So instead of that, you can directly solve it over here and see if your code actually passes the test cases or not. So that is how Codeforces work, CodeChef works, and this is my account. I haven't really solved anything on CodeChef. My personal favorite is Codeforces. and I'd prefer to solve there more. And that's it, guys. These two were my part, and over to Suhas. He'll be walking you through HackerRank and LeetCode.
Yeah, thank you, Dhruthi, for the explanation. Hello, guys. How are you? You're still in first year. How's college going? Everything's fine. Please, like, try to interact as much as possible so that if you have any doubts, you can put it in the chat box, and I'll keep seeing chat box. So anyone has any single doubt, you can please put it there. Yeah, nice. So first, I'll share my screen. Yeah. So I hope you guys can see my screen now. Can you see it? Yeah, nice. So basically, the objective of this whole Gmeet or this YouTube video was to teach you guys about competitive programming. And like Dhruti told, basically the competitive programming is more focused on Codeforces and CodeChef, and especially in Codeforces. CodeChef is an Indian website, so most of the competitors are from India. Therefore, people all around the world like to participate on Codeforces, and we are here to promote CP culture in our college. And basically in Codeforces, like recently, I think last contest from India, we got our first legendary grandmaster. His name is Shreyan Rai. If you want, I can show you actually. Yeah, so yeah, this guy called Dominator 069. He's from IIT Kharagpur, and I think he's in fourth year now. He has been doing CP since a long time, 3 years, as you can see. Basically, this guy, he's from India, and he's our first legendary grandmaster in the latest contest. So yeah, CP culture is improving in India, and we hope to see more from our college students as well. In our campus, there's only one person who's our CP team head. He's called Shreyas. He's currently he was candidate master, and now he's an expert. So we hope to see more candidate masters and experts from you guys. So right after CP, CP is mostly for the HFTs and quant companies, which are like big companies basically. The more most of the companies don't require CP for anything. Usually, you need something called LeetCode. LeetCode is a platform where you can practice questions. So before that, I want to teach you guys about HackerRank. HackerRank is basically a website where you guys can start out your programming career. Basically, you get to learn programming languages before actually solving DSA questions in them. So before solving DSA, you need to know about the programming language, the libraries, and all of that. That's why there is a platform called HackerRank. And as you can see, this is the main dashboard, and this is the website. So basically, here you can see there is software engineer prep kit. These are basically contains one mock test, mock interview on certification. When you come down, you have sections called problem solving, Java, Python. Basically, these are modules where they teach you questions. They'll have questions which you can solve. It's loading. 1 second. Yeah. Anyways, like as you can see, this is the problem solving module, and there are like lots of questions. And each of the question are like labeled with easy, medium, or hard. And the list basically goes on. This is a very long list of problems, and each of the problem you guys can solve, and you can mark it as a star for important, and you guys can solve it basically to learn things about it. Like in Codeforces, this also contains a similar format. I'll teach you guys. I'll show you guys how to submit a problem here as well. And this is problem solving. And then you have since I mostly code in Java, I use I in my like right after my first year, I used this platform to learn about Java. And it was quite useful to learn about the language, but not for DSA. And once you come down, this is the most important part in this website. Here you have practice skills. Basically, this includes algorithms, data structures, mathematics, AI, Python, whatever you want. Basically, you name it, it's there. And to start out, you guys can choose any of the language you want, any language you want. But for CP or for LeetCode, the preferred ones are C++, Java, or Python. Only three of these, and not C also, because to implement data structures in C is actually hard. So there's a lot of boilerplate code in C which you can avoid by simply using function names in C++ or Java or Python. So, and these are algorithms and data structures. First, we'll go through Python. Yeah. So this is the Python page where you can actually solve problems just like the previous section. So for the basics, you can just go here. This is the first question here. Simply click on it, and there is, yeah, this is the like space where you can solve the actual problem. They'll actually give you the initial boilerplate code. Unlike in Codeforces, you guys solved with Dhruthi, right? There you didn't have to. There you had to write the whole program yourself. But here you don't have to write the whole program. Since it's a small problem, you have just two lines here. But in case you take some other program, you'll have a lot of code already there. So you just have to implement one function and your job is done. I'm sure you guys know what a function is. If you don't know, function is a set of like bunch of lines basically, which does you know common work. Like let's say you have a function defined just to print hello world, then this has just one line. This is basically a function which here it's not defined a function, but it's usually a function which has hello world. So as you can see here, first they have given the problem statement. Here is a sample line of code that can be executed in Python. Print hello world. This is what you have to do. And you just come down here and my string is hello world, print my string. So you have to basically get the sample output of hello world. And the output format is hello comma world. So yeah, this is a very simple question, so I don't think anybody will make mistakes on this. Yeah, you just print hello world here and your job is done. You basically then like run code here and submit it here. Like, so there's just one test case, of course, because this is the whole point of this program is just to print hello world. I'm just giving you guys a brief idea about like how to submit code so that you get familiar with the platform. And this is the compiler message, which basically success means it passed, and the expected output is hello world. You also got hello world. And I'm sure Dhruti has told you guys what is a test case. Test case is basically there to test your own code, like how far can your code go against the cases which are in which can be used. Like here, there's only one case hello world. In some other program, they may give an array, so they may give like n number of arrays, and they can test your solution against it. Um, yeah, basically it's a type of input they'll give to check how your code runs against it. Yeah, that's about this Python. So basically, you guys can start out with this if you are doing Python, or you can go to Java or C++. Feel free to choose any language you like, and you come down and you basically solve all of these problems and go on. And like when you keep on solving the problems, you basically get stars on your profile, like 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, and 5 star. When you reach 5 star, you have basically completed this whole thing. And it basically starts from 1 star. I guess if you solve like three, four problems, you'll get 1 star. And you just keep on doing this, and yeah, you'll be good at your programming language. So Python, or you can do the same thing with Java or C++. And after this, if you want to do on HackerRank, which is not recommendable, you can start with data structures and then go to algorithms. Um, yeah, data structures is same like this. You go on, you keep solving stuff, and basically the same thing like in Python. The first question is arrays, which is also a data type to solve problem. Yeah, basically the same format. You can just solve problems and improve your data structure knowledge. But there are better sites out there which you can use to practice data structures and algorithms. And this is algorithms. Um, Basically the same thing. You can keep on solving, and you'll get better at algorithms. Right. So after this, you can try AI powered mock interviews as it's written. either for software or backend or front end or system design. These comes in the development part and not really in the CP or lead code part. And then you guys can check your profile here. Yeah, so this is my profile, and basically I tried Java for like a while, like I said. And yeah, these are the things you'll get on your as a badges, which you can put on LinkedIn or on your resume if you want. Would not recommendable again. Yeah. So this is the basic overview of HackerRank. If you guys have any doubt, please put in the chat box. I'll answer it. Next, we'll move on to LeetCode. Any doubts, guys? All right, great. So I guess we'll go on to LeetCode now. Yeah. So basically, LeetCode will be the most important thing which you'll ever do in your 4 years of engineering. The LeetCode questions are the questions which are asked in actual interviews. Um, so HackerRank is good only for learning programming languages. Yeah, basically, it's more advisable to do learning programming languages and HackerRank, since there are other websites like LeetCode where you can actually practice DSA and stuff. Yeah, I hope that clarifies your question. Yeah. So as I was saying, LeetCode is the most important website which you'll use in your whole 4 years of life. All the questions that are asked in your interviews will mostly be from LeetCode, and it will be from LeetCode. You'll have one or the other similar question from LeetCode which will be asked in your interviews, and whether it will be like off campus or on campus, this will be the case always. And let it be big companies like Google as well. Google will also ask questions from LeetCode itself. They might ask from outside, that's another thing, but mostly it will be from LeetCode. So if you are good at LeetCode, you'll be good at like basically DSA. Yeah, Strivers and LeetCode are basically like websites which you can follow, which has links to LeetCode problems only. Strivers and LeetCode both are YouTubers. They both will explain like the problems which are on LeetCode itself. So at the end of the day, you are practicing LeetCode only. Yeah. So CP is a different thing than LeetCode. LeetCode is basically for interviews. CP is for competitive programming. So don't get that confused. You don't do CP in LeetCode. Yeah, I'm not sure about Coursera for learning language. Not sure. Yeah. So let's get started with the overview of LeetCode. This is the main page of LeetCode, and basically on the first page we'll have these things called blogs, where different people will put different blogs, and basically you click on this blog, and it will take you to whatever the blog contains. Uh, Wait, this is LeetCode posted this, so let's ignore this. Let's go to this. Yeah, so usually on blogs, they'll tell you how they got the job, or what was their package, or what were the questions they were asked in the company. For example, this guy here, he got into Amazon, like he wrote Amazon OA. OAs are basically online assessment. It's the first round which is in an interview, basically. So this guy's job ID, and then he applied for the job, got OA, completed it. Here he has not told about any questions, but usually in blogs they'll tell about questions, like what questions came and what they got, and they also like post new findings like in data structures and algorithms. So you like new findings in as in new research, like how you solved a problem or something like that. Here, as you can see, like this is Google L3 screening on site. Basically, like whatever they want, they can put. And if they have any questions, they can ask in the comments and they might answer the user. And the users are, of course, anonymous. They won't go, LeetCode won't show who posted what. Right. So this is actually very useful when you want to know what problems were in what companies, what round. So you can, based on this, you can practice. Like this question was asked in Meta in third round, means you can practice that. And like you can expect that they might ask it again for you. Yeah, the probability is less, but they can ask you nonetheless. Then after this, this is basically the discuss page. Um, yeah, this leads to the discuss page, and then we'll go to explore. Yeah, explore basically has modules of questions. Like for LeetCode is not only for data structures and algorithm, it's mostly for DSA, but people also use it for system design and interview questions, SQL, and all of that. This is a part of DSA, which is called dynamic programming. You can simply click on it. Uh, yeah, and it will show you the problems and everything. I think you need pro version for this. But yeah, rest of it you can do it. Like let's say this one, top interview questions. Yeah, these are the question links. If you actually click it, you go to the question. Yeah, this is a question. So you can actually follow like sheets like LeetCode 150 or something like that to get an idea of what you have to solve regarding DSA. And these are system design, and I'm sure you'll find SQL also somewhere. So this is about the explore page, which is actually kind of useful because instead of randomly solving problems, you can solve it through a curated list already, which is done by experts. And these are the most important lead code problems. It will be there in top interview questions. They won't simply put normal problems there. And this is the easy collection. So only easy problems are there here. Yeah, so this is about it. And then we go to problem section. Yeah, this is the most important page on lead code where you'll solve your problems. So yeah, basically if you click this drop down here, it's called expand here. Yeah, you will see different names, right? Yeah, out of these names, I think you'll be familiar with a couple of them, like arrays, strings, and math, or sortings, or greedy. Sure, a couple of you might know what these all means. And these are actually the topics. Like array, if you click, there are 2010 questions on arrays. Like you can simply keep on going. Like these are the questions and which have logged, okay? They are logged. Only you can use LeetCode Premium for this to get the question and solve it. Restaurant, most of the questions are usually there, available to everyone, but a few of them are for premium users only. Yeah, that's one downside of LeetCode, but yeah, the collection is always good enough. So yeah, these are array strings. You can simply click on it and you'll go to the page and you'll have all the string questions available on LeetCode, which are tagged strings. Yeah, and if you have, yeah, you'll collapse this and it will go back basically. So if you want to solve from first, see, it goes from lead code 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes on lead code 100. And there are many, many pages, which will basically cover all of the 3000 questions on lead code. And these are the trending companies. I guess you can see the questions only if you have premium again. These are not for normal users. So after this, yeah, you can curate your own list. Like you can simply click plus and a new list, and you can enter title, description, and you can add your problems here. Or you can, yeah, you can go to study plan as well, which is basically the sheets, which I mentioned earlier. So an important sheet worth noting is top interview 150. If you click it, yeah, basically you'll get by order in which you have to solve lead code, which is a recommendable order. So first, you go through the basics basically. So arrays or strings, solve all of the problems. Yeah, as you can see, they start out with easy, medium, and then hard. Yeah, basically the important questions they'll cover. They can't cover all the 3000 questions, and you also can't solve all 3000 questions within 4 years. So only the important questions they'll solve. And next, moving on to two pointers. This is also one way of solving a problem. There are 5 questions here, and then matrix problems, 5 more, hash map intervals, all of these. Basically, it goes on until the last, until dynamic programming and multidimensional DP. Yeah, this is one recommendable cheat sheet, and later we'll share with you guys the actual cheat sheets which you can use to improve your lead code solving skills or like the paths you need to follow. And basically, you have lead code 75 as well. If you don't want to solve 150 problems, if you want to take it easy with 75, you can do this as well. So this is half of what you saw earlier. The questions are, of course, kind of different because I've excluded many topics as well. Um, there's again arrays, 2 pointers, prefix sum, sliding window. Yeah, and the list goes on again. Yeah. So these are the cheat sheets which you can use. Recommendable are these two over here. And this is for database management, which you'll learn in fourth semester. You can use SQL 50 to actually find 50 problems of SQL, which you can use to understand like any, database query language like MySQL or Postgres, anything like that. Relational, of course. Yeah. And then this is pandas in Python. You can learn about pandas, but nobody uses these actually. It's only for DSA people come for LeetCode. Then again, these are challenges and coding interviews. Again, a top 150, LeetCode 75, SQL 50. Yeah, basically, then you have programming skills, DP, like essential problems regarding the topic wise. Like DP means only DP, they'll give like important questions. Here, 8 patterns they have given, and then 10 essential patterns like that. So far, anyone has any doubts? Yeah, where did you learn the languages? I guess probably from YouTube or any other source you want, actually. It's not only needed that you do HackerRank, but for DSA, LeetCode is the most important. Yeah, you learn a language from GFG and or HackerRank, and then you actually solve DSA in LeetCode. Sounds like a good plan. Yeah, so I hope there's no more doubts. We'll actually solve one or two problems, but before that, I'll also tell you about contests. LeetCode actually holds contests every week, either on morning 8 o'clock or night 8 o'clock in India. And it will basically be a weekly contest or a bi-weekly contest. Any one of you guys who wants to participate can just go and like click on the, yeah, here, weekly contest 470. You simply have to go at that time in 8 o'clock morning Sunday, and you simply click on this and you'll be into the contest. And in the contest, there'll be like 2 hours where they'll give you some time to solve 4 problems. It will be four exactly in weekly as well as bi-weekly. Weekly contest is every week on Sunday 8 o'clock, and bi-weekly contest is every 2 weeks on Saturday 8 p.m. Yeah, we'll upload this stream. Yeah, LeetCode is absolutely beginner friendly. You can solve basic problems here. There's no need to start with another website and then come to LeetCode. Yeah, so this is about contests here, and these are the rankings. Like the top rated coder on LeetCode is this guy called Miru, and this is a YouTuber called Niel. He is the top second guy now. So these are the contests they have attended, like 51 contests, 26 contests. Yeah. So this is the basic information about contests, and it is always recommended to attend contests whenever it's there. Yeah. You can use playlists like Strivers or Upnocolors. Yeah. So this is about the contest page. Yeah, and these are my contests which I have attended. Like I have attended like five. So these are the results. I got like rating 1500 and stuff. Yeah. And basically, we'll solve one or two problems here. We'll take the easiest problem. So the easiest problem is the number one here. It's called two sum, and this two sum actually requires some prior, you know, data structure knowledge. It's called a hash map. You need the data structure knowledge to solve this. So instead of that, we'll solve another problem called reverse integer, and then we'll move on to palindrome. Yeah. So first, this is how the problem looks on LeetCode. Whenever you open any problem, this is the problem name, which is reverse integer. And then these are the topics which you click, you'll go down, you'll get the topics. And then these are the companies which have asked this problem, which is not available to any of the non-premium users. So this is just the information that this company has asked this problem. That's all. So this is not really required. Yeah, where to start Python or C program? I didn't understand. Where to start means where to start learning, I guess. Yeah, like I said, YouTube or anywhere you feel comfortable. Or they're teaching also in college, I guess, for you guys, Python. So you guys can start up with that and like follow up from other resource. Yeah, usually it's YouTube whenever you learn. Or else you can actually go through documentation as well, but it's very long. Yeah. Yeah. So coming back, this problem is rated medium. There are three ratings here in LeetCode for all the questions. One is medium and one is easy, and then one more is hard. So this is a medium problem. Usually in interviews, they'll ask for freshers, they'll ask usually medium or easy. They won't go as far as to ask hard, but there are cases where they ask hard as well in tough companies, like in big companies, basically. Yeah, my profile. Yeah, you can see it here. Uh, yeah, you can simply see like it's been a very long time since I've solved a problem. But yeah, these are the problems I've solved, and these are the latest submissions which I've done. And there's DP. I've solved 21 problems, hash table 40 and stuff. Yeah, yeah. You can also upload solutions, your own solutions, which I've uploaded one and things. Yeah, basically you'll get badges also if you keep on solving. Yeah, this is my profile basically. You'll also get your profile if you solve, of course. Yeah, continuing with this. Uh, yeah, so continuing, you have given a signed 32-bit integer x. Yeah, so what does signed mean? And 32 bits means like you would have already learned in your first semester Python classes. 32-bit is a representation which will like how many bits it takes to store one integer on your machine. Here it's using cloud, so it's on the cloud. The integer takes 32 bits to be stored. Yeah, given a signed 32-bit integer x, return x with its digits reversed. So let's say the x is 1 to 3, then you have to reverse it and send 3 to 1. Yeah. And then if reversing x causes the value to go outside the signed 32-bit integer range. Yeah, so signed integer range is minus 2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1. This is the range in which your integer can lie. And if it's outside this range, basically you would know mathematical notations, right? So yeah, if I actually use this and this means it includes x, let's say like 1 comma 2 means 1 and 2 are included. Yeah, that's what they're saying here. Like including 2 power minus 2 power 31 and including 2 power 31 minus 1. And if it's, yeah, these are mathematics, but yeah, let me tell. If you use parentheses, this is not excluding 1 and 2. And if you use one side, then it's including 2, excluding 1. Yeah, basically, you would have learned it in your second view or 12th. Right. So yeah, assume the environment doesn't allow you to store 64-bit integers, signed or unsigned. Yeah. So since you guys are in first semester and you guys know only Python, we'll assume that you only know Python, and I'll show you the code in Python. But usually I code in Java, so this is not my like forte basically. Um, yeah, I'll just teach you guys how to solve a problem and basically so that you guys can get the quick start and you guys can look ahead with other problems and you can solve on your own using the cheat sheets which we'll share today. Yeah, so far no doubts, I assume. Yeah, I'll explain the test cases also. So far no doubts, right, with the problem statement. Guys, anyone? No. Okay, cool. No doubts. Yeah, this is a very simple problem, so I'm pretty sure you guys won't have any doubts. But if you have, feel free to ask, no problem. And then this is the first test case. Yeah, the example one given here is a test case, which is shown here. Case 1, case 2, case 3, which are these three cases itself. As I explained, test case is how you will test your code. Like how is it correct or wrong? For basically 1 to 3, it should output 3 to 1. That is why they have given a test case called 1 to 3. Will it output 3 to 1 or not? You will get to know after you run the code here. It's command and like quote in Mac, and I guess it's in Windows. It's Windows button and like inverted comma basically. And then yeah, so we'll come back to example one. I explained this is 1 to 3 means it should just print 3 to 1. Example 2 is minus 1 to 3. So if it's minus 1 to 3 and then it has to print minus 3 to 1, the minus should be on the first itself always. You can't like make the minus come at the last. That would be wrong answer. So you have to keep this in mind. These things are called as edge cases, where you will basically think that these are very trivial and you'll go over it basically. You'll ignore this most of the times. So these are which will slip through your mind. So you need to take special care of these cases called edge cases. Yeah. So minus 1 to 3 means it has to print minus 3 to 1 and not 3 to 1 minus. 3 to 1 minus doesn't make sense in mathematics. Yeah. And the example 3 is 1 to 0, which would print to 1. That's all. No 0 at the first because it doesn't make sense again. The like 0, if it's there or not in the front, it doesn't make sense. So you simply ignore the 0 at the first. Yeah, these are the sample test cases they'll give you, and they'll have like a set of 1,000 different test cases, which you'll see once you like run the code. Yeah, and basically the most important part here is constraints. You have to look closely into constraints. It is minus 2 power 31, less than or equal to x. Uh, yeah, yeah, minus 2 power 31 less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 2 power 31 minus 1. This is basically the signed integer range, which is in all programming languages, apart from Python. In Python, you don't have integer or anything like that. All the numeric value are stored as numerics, that's all. And Python has a very large storage. So basically, it can store how much ever like range is there, how much are max is there on your computer. Let's say the max on your computer like is like a very large storage space, of course, because you have RAM and GPUs and stuff. So it can usually go up to millions. So one millions of digits, mind you, it's not this million. It can go like as long as you want it to go up to like 32 digits or something like that. No, so, my bad, like 3,200 digits. So it's very, very long in Python. So Python is an exception here. Usually in other languages like Java or C, you have to hold this range minus 2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1. Yeah, constraints are very important because in third semester later you guys will learn something called time complexity. So just looking at the constraints, you guys should tell what's the time complexity of the code. Basically, time complexity means like how fast your like what's the time it takes to run your code agnostic to what device it's on. So like if you are running on a Mac, let's say it takes zero point 0.1 nanosecond or something. And if you're running on Windows, it takes zero point 0.3 nanoseconds. We don't count that. We don't want that. We want something like which is constant for all machines. This is called we do that by using time complexity. And usually using when you see this constraint itself, you can tell what's the time complexity of the code and how you should structure your code. So these constraints are actually very important. So you guys need to remember that. Yeah, correct. With respect to number of operations, right? For loop usually indicates big O of n. Yeah, you guys will learn it later, so I don't want to like teach you complex stuff, no? Yeah, don't worry, you'll learn it later in your third semester. Yeah. And if you come down, they'll ask, it's just asking a question, have you seen this in interview or not? Just leave it. Then this is the topics. So the topic for this problem is only math because there is nothing else. This is a very simple problem. And then the companies, these are for only premium subscribers. Yeah, and they have an important feature called similar questions here. Similar questions means, as the name indicates, it's a question which is very similar to this. So you can simply continue on solving these in the same topic. Let's say you're solving maths now. You can simply continue on solving here also instead of going back to the page and solving. Right. So this is similar questions, and these are discussions where people actually help you out with some things. Like you are not allowed to post any solution here. You just have to give hints or something like that. That's all. Sharing tips. That's all, as you can see. So these are all tips. Like this is the input and this is the expected, this is the output you are getting, but expected is 0. He's asking like how to do it or something like that. Yeah, these are the comments which will tell you like if you are not getting the solution, then you can come and see here first for hints. Or there'll also be a hint section over here for many questions about this topic. So you can also refer to that hint section and you can also refer to this topic section. So you'll know what data structure to use or what algorithm to use. Here it's written math. So you know it's a math based topic and you just need to use maths. That's all. There's nothing more in this. Yeah, this is the basic overview of the problem. And then this is the description part, right? And then you go to editorial part. Editorial means solution. Solution which LeetCode will put. Yeah, for this you need a subscription. But they have also put the intuition and the approach, like how to solve the problem and stuff. as you can see. Like the code is also given, but for many questions, it's not there. Basically, they'll ask you to have premium or something like that, which is of course not required. And then, as you can see, this is posted by official LeetCode account. So they are the one posting the official solution here. Then you'll go to solutions. This is where people will post it. Like as you can see, this is one more guy who has posted the solution, and this is one more guy. There are many different solutions which people will post so that others can understand. If you just click on this, yeah, there are actually YouTubers also who will post their YouTube link, as you can see here, so that you can go and watch the YouTube video and then you can see the solution. Yeah, and yeah, this is the approach. They'll explain the approach. They'll tell you the solution. They'll tell you the test cases. Everything they'll tell here only in the solutions part. So you don't need YouTube Premium for anything. And then these are the codes in different languages like Python, JavaScript, and Java. Yeah. And you can see he has also explained the steps, which I'll explain. Yeah. So these are the solutions which you can refer to when you are solving a problem if you don't get the solution on your own, of course. And to see the optimal solution. So yeah, in lead code, basically there are different ways to solve a problem. But the interviewer always expects you to solve the problem in the most efficient way. Efficient, how you can measure is by what I told before, time complexity. So the time complexity should be very less. They'll expect time complexity based on the constraints, as I told. This constraints is very important, which many will like look over it. But this constraint is very important. It will tell you what time complexity solution it requires. Here it's 2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1. So this has a very large range. So they are expecting a solution is big of 1. I'm sure you guys don't know what's big O, but I'm just telling. Like remember it later. So one day when you learn it, you'll actually know what this means. Right? So yeah, editorial done, solutions done. They'll actually show the solutions. You can visit anything you want here. And this is the submissions, whichever I've submitted. As you can see, the first submission I did was a year ago on September 9th. And the latest submission I did was 2 hours ago, which was a wrong submission. If it was accepted, it would show accepted like this. Right. And all of the submissions I did was in Java. And two I did in Python. And it will show you the runtime as well. Because it's a wrong submission, it will show NA. If it was accepted, it will show 23 milliseconds. And in memory as well, it will show how much memory it took in cloud. So these memory actually varies a lot. So you don't have to trust these numbers because this is running on LeetCode's cloud. So you don't have to trust these numbers, and this as well, it will vary many times. Like once it will show 2 milliseconds, and if you execute it again, it will show 1 millisecond. It will vary. So don't trust these numbers. That is why you make use of the fact called time complexity, so that it's constant across all devices, right? Yeah. So this is basically the overview of how an individual problem looks. Yeah, and this is debug mode, which is of course again in premium only. And this is run, and this is submit, right? And this is a note which you can take, like any note you want. This is an interesting problem, which you can later comment review, basically. Yeah, and this is a submit button, and this is the run button. There's a difference between two. Run is only used to run for the test cases present here, like case one, case two, case three. That's all. But submit button is used to test your code against all the test cases present, which you aren't seeing now. But once you submit, you will actually see the number of test cases. And this is actually a new feature which LeetCode has added very recently. This is a AI which you can use, like Leet AI. Even I like noticed this like 2 3 days ago. That's all. Yeah, so you can ask any question you want here, and it will help you solve the problem. But this is by no means you have to like ask the solution and paste it here. That's not how you solve problems. You have to solve it on your own. If you are not getting, you can ask advisors or hints. And if you are still not getting, just go see the solution. That's all. There's the only need you have for it is to correct your like code. What's the error, and you have to correct it. I was solving a problem which uses dynamic programming, and for that, I needed some help, so I asked this. That's all. You don't have to ask the full solution or something. You can simply paste your solution there and it will tell like what's wrong. It didn't tell me the line also. It will just tell like exclude the last house or exclude the first house. So you should know like, okay, I shouldn't do this or I should do this. So these are just hints you could consider, which you can use to solve the problem. So yeah, does these websites are good for beginners? I mean, for first year students because you don't even know what these problems are, and our lecturer still, yeah, Yeah, like I said, LeetCode is a platform to solve problems. There is no beginner or like final boss. Anyone can solve any problem. So it's always better to start out early because for your year, there's a lot of competitors for you. There are like, I don't know, for last year only, there are like 800 people. So for only for on campus, you have to compete with 800 different people. So it's always better to start early. For our batch, I started after my first year. So, but for your batch, I guess you guys need to start very early because there are a lot of smart people in your batch. They know their stuff and they know how to improve basically. So the faster you start, the better. Yeah, but there is no need to again pressurize yourself that okay, I have to start today only. No, because these data structures and algorithm concepts are hard. They'll teach you in your classes as well in third semester and fourth semester. Third semester you'll have data structures and fourth semester you'll have algorithms coursework. So you can learn it there as well. But it's always good to start early to have a general idea of what is what. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, so I hope there's no other doubts. Do you guys have any other doubts? You guys, you have any other doubts? When will you guys conduct CP contests? Actually, I'm not sure. The last time we conducted was in fourth semester. Oh no, yeah, in fourth. I mean, when I was in fourth semester, so it's last semester. So no, I'm not sure. Maybe this time they might connect or not because they have to recruit people as well from first years. This time or next time, I'm not sure for you guys. Yeah, for EC guys, this is not even essential for you guys. Like EC is basically core, right? Um, Electric stuff. So this is not even for you guys. But if you want to learn, it's not bad at all. You can learn LeetCode. Yeah, so I guess you can. I'll show you guys. Like I'll solve this problem for you guys. So yeah, the first thing which I need to think about is something called an intuition. What I'm thinking, like, how will I start to solve this? Yeah, I'll solve in Python, not in C. Because like I said, C is usually not preferred at all. You will only understand it later why it's not preferred once you implement data structures in your third semester. You have to write a lot of code just to implement a data structure which is already in a library in C++ or Java, right? That's why you don't use C. Use something like Python or Java or C++, which makes your life easier. Yeah. Coming back, the first thing which you guys should think is something called an intuition or an approach of how you'll solve this problem, like what data structure you'll use or what method you'll use to solve this problem. So now I'm thinking it's just they'll give the X value and they'll give the output as 3 to 1, right? So you simply have to reverse this whole thing. So it's not at all a complex task. So there is no need for data structures. So data structures is eliminated. Data structures are just a way to store something on your machine. So there are different data structures like arrays or something like that. For EC, bro, like for EC, it's not even required, bro. But like if you want to come into like CS job opportunities, then these are absolute essentials. If you want only EC, this is not even like concerning for you. These are not for you. But if you want to come into CS, then LeetCode is the platform which everyone should and has to know. Yeah. So coming back, the first thing which I think is do I need any data structure? Data structure is just a way to store a problem, like way to store something, and it also represents like the relationship between two things. Like if any one of you has heard of graphs data structure, not your graph from 12th or 11th, but there is something called a graph data structure where there are nodes and it represents a relationship between them. So those things are called data structures. And in programming languages like Java, arrays are called data types. There's a significant difference between data types and data structures. Data types also includes things like integer, double, float, strings, not strings, my bad. These are called as data types. And the other things which are actually objects in Java or Python are called as data structures. These are implemented as objects. This array or take something like a list in Python. Those are implemented as objects and therefore they're called as data structures and not data types. Yeah. So coming back, we have to solve this problem. So the first thing I'm thinking is just reversing this whole thing, right? So to reverse this, there is no method in Python or Java to reverse an integer. Integer reversal is not possible. So I am thinking I can simply reverse the string. And reversing a string is a very simple task because it's just one function. That's all. Or you can simply use a trick which is colon colon minus one, which will basically reverse your whole string. That's all. So I'm thinking I'll basically take this whole integer value, I'll convert it to a string, I'll reverse it, and I'll note down somewhere, like if it has a minus or if it doesn't have a minus. The basic category with where a number has minus and number doesn't have minus is just that it's a negative number or a positive number. So I can just check if the number is less than zero or greater than zero. Over. That's all. And I can store if it has a negative value or it doesn't have a negative value. And if I can do that, my job's done. Yeah, so this is the basic idea of the problem. And if you guys don't understand it also, it's okay. It's kind of complex for you guys, but I'm just giving you an overview of how the problems will be. These are easy problems. It's given medium here, but this is a very easy problem. And the only reason I think it's given medium is because of an edge case, which I'll explain to you guys shortly. Right. So I'll start coding. So first I'll initialize a variable. And one more thing is when you guys are initializing variables, you have to be very careful. Like you shouldn't just give like A or B or something like that, S or B or anything. You have to give something which actually makes sense, right? Because in interviews, they'll judge you based on that as well. So I'll name something like result, which actually makes sense. And I'll initialize it to zero. Yeah. So in Python, this represents a numeric value. It's not an integer nor a double or anything, right? So after this, I'll just check, like I said, if it's less than zero or greater than zero. If you can see in second test case, this is less than zero. So this minus integer, if I reverse, this minus will come at the last. So if I can somehow just extract these three numbers, one, two, three, from it and ignore this minus for now, and later I can simply append this minus into the front, then my job is done. Okay, yeah, yeah. Like you said, it's just typecasting into a string and reversing, and then making sure of one edge case that you left. But yeah, the solution is mostly that. And is it useful for web dev? No, it's not useful. Web dev is done mostly in JavaScript. Yeah. So after this, yeah, I'll just check if this x number is less than zero or greater than zero. Mind you, this x is in integer now. So yeah, if x is less than zero, I'll basically store in result. I'll first write it down and then I'll explain you guys what each of it means. Yeah. So basically, I'm checking if x is less than zero. X is less than zero means it's a negative number, not including zero. If you want in mathematical notations, it's simply like, let's say, not including minus infinity. You cannot include infinity. And then it's in not including zero. So it's like this, or you can write it as minus one. My word, minus one. Yeah, that's all. So if it's less than zero, you'll store the result as an int of string. Basically, this is an integer, right? X is an integer. You want to reverse it. So you'll convert it to a string because integer doesn't have any methods where you can reverse it. So you'll just take a string, str of x, you'll convert this x into a string. This is the function which is built in Python called str of x, which will convert any integer to a string. And following this, you can see a braces, right? One colon, nothing is there. So one colon means it's taking from the first value. For example, if it's 1, 2, 3 over here, it is taking from tooth value, like 2 and then 3. The labeling is usually 0, 1, 2, right? Zero based indexing always. So it is taking from the first value. So 1. So it will include 2 and 3. What does it mean is here in here, like only in negative values, not in positive. So if it's minus 1 to 3, here, minus means it will take 1 to 3. It will ignore the first value. It will ignore the zeroth index and take from the first index. So 1 to 3 is taken. That means only the positive value is retained in like positive value is retained, which is what you want. And you're basically reversing it later. You're taking from the first value here and you're reversing it. So what is being done is you're taking minus 1 to 3, right? And then you're removing this minus and you're only taking 1 to 3. And after you take 1 to 3, you'll reverse it. It will become 3 to 1. Yeah. So essentially, you reverse the negative number without the minus. So later, you are multiplying with minus 1. What does it mean? This minus will come here now because you are multiplying with minus 1. This will turn into a negative number now. It was negative. But if you had just reversed it normally, this negative would have come here, which is absolutely wrong. That is why we remove the negative and we put it into the front. And now it is 3 to 1. Right. So now it makes more sense. And it's stored into the variable called result, RES. Oh my bad. I stored it as RES. Yeah. So it's result. Yeah. So one case is done. This is the most important case, which is less than 0. This is done. So now it is just greater than 0, which I can just make it as else. Because if you remember, I had just stored it as minus infinity to minus 1, right? Else means it includes 0 as well. It includes 0 also, no problem. Because let's take examples like 0. Even if I want to, reverse this, there is nothing. I'll simply put 0 again, right? So there's no problem. But let's check minus 1 to 3. I had to make this to minus 3 to 1, which I did it. But let's check any positive number like 12. I just have to do 2 1. That's all. There is no plus 12 or something. So there's no problem with it. Yeah. What title I didn't understand. Yeah. Anyways. Yes. And I solved half of the problem now. The rest half is for else part. So I'll write it down once again. Result is int of str of x minus 1. Yeah. So this is basically other half. I take the x integer, I'll convert it to a string, and then I'll reverse it. This is a you could say a notation where you can reverse a string. Like if you have let's say the string is sauce, and I use sauce of colon minus 1. That means this string will be reversed. ECAUSTUAS. This is the resulting string which you'll have. So this is used to reverse a string, right? Yeah. So you will reverse a string and you are converting it to an integer here. You will convert it to a string. You will reverse the whole string. And once you reverse the string, you'll convert it back to an integer and you'll store it into result. Because as you remember, result was first stored as a numeric value. So later you can't store a string inside that, right? That is why you store an integer. You convert it to an integer and then store it. Yeah. So if I only submit like this, yeah. So later it will require you to return a value. In LeetCode, always you have to return a value. In Codeforces, you have to always print a value. Remember that. So in LeetCode, I'll just return a value, like return result. Then it will give a wrong answer because of the constraint. I'll explain why. But yeah, you can just see it firsthand yourself. So the test cases will pass because all of it are proper, unless I've made a syntax error, which I hope not. Yeah, so I've not made a syntax error. So everything is fine and the test cases are accepted. As you can see, I just click the run button over here. This is the run button. So I just click it and these sample test cases are run basically, are ran on your program and you can see the output here. The output is 3 to 1, expected is also 3 to 1. So it matches and it's fine, proper piece. And then you can actually submit this code. Like just press submit and it should give you an error. Right. As you can see, on test case 1036, it's giving you an error. There are many test cases, like there are 1045 test cases here. And on the 1036th test case, you are getting an error here. Why? Because it's expecting 0. As you can see here, if it's out of the integer range, like minus 2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1, then I have to return 0, which I'm not doing. The first time they've introduced a test case which has a number either less than minus 2 power 31 or greater than 2 power 31 minus 1 is here in test case 1036. Right. So I had to print 0, but I didn't print. That's the error here, which I recognize instantly because of the constraints here. Right. And I had to print 0, which I didn't. So yeah, so I can like try to change my code such that it will include this edge case. Edge case is basically some case which is actually very trivial, which would have ignored. Yeah. Uh, yeah, yeah. So basically, After this, I have to include this edge case. So as I mentioned here, it is minus 2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1. So it's minus 2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1. Yeah. So this is the negative value and this is the positive value. Maximum positive value which you can have, and this is the minimum negative value which you can have. Right. So let's say you take this value and you con you convert this using our algorithm. Let's say it's 2 power 31, right? That's a value. This is in mathematical notations. It's 2 power 31, which actually indicates a value, something like, I don't know, yeah, it actually gave the value also. Please. So this is the value. So it's in negative, right? So this negative value, let's say you reverse this, all right? You reverse this. First you remove the negative and reverse this. Comes something like 8, 4, 6, 3, 8, 4, 7, 4, 1, and 2, right? So this is the value, and later you are appending a minus, right? But you have to notice one thing. This is 2 power 31, right? And the positive value is 2 power 31 minus 1. Yeah. So this includes a, like, there's one lesser always. So if you reverse it and like use a negative sign here, this may increase the value. So this is actually an edge case which you have to remember. The value, if it's within minus 2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1, only then you have to print the result. Yeah, I hope you understood that. Yeah, so I'll also add that test case here, edge case here. So if result is greater than 2 power 31. So power is represented by star star in Python. If you want in Java, it's represented by math.pow. Yeah, similarly in different languages, it has different things, which you learn when you're learning the language. Right. So if it's greater than a 2 power 31 minus 1, or or I'm sure everybody would know what or is. It's just like what it means. It's or, that's all. And result is greater than 2 power 31 minus 1, or it's less than minus 2 power 31. And a colon, always. In Python, you use colon. In other languages, you use braces. So you just return 0. I think if you add this one edge case, your code should run now properly. Yeah, like I can try running it again. So first you always run to see these test cases pass. So you don't like, yeah, see, there's an mistake I made here. I'm not sure what is it. Res, yeah, I've made it as res, but it should be result here. So I just run this. Now it should be fine. Yeah, so now it's fine. And if I submit this code, it should get properly submitted because I checked the edge case of this and I returned 0. Yeah, as you can see, once you submit a code, you'll get all of the test cases passed, and then your runtime will be defined here as 14 milliseconds, and it beats 81% of the people who have submitted. Right. And then this is the memory which it will take. These are actually varying. So if I submit it again, there might be a different value because it depends on the cloud, right? Therefore, it is different things. So you have to actually like look after this analyze complexity thing. So if look at this, it will actually give you the time complexity of your code, which is log x, which you'll understand why it's log x and all once you actually, like, come to your data structures coursework, do your data structures coursework. And this is the memory choosing. Since I'm using Python, this code is actually very slow. It takes 14 milliseconds. But if let's say you use C++ or Java, this code will run way faster. Like in Java, this will probably be half of it. And in C++, it will be faster than in Java. So it's always recommended to use C++ or Java, but Python is also very good for beginners. So there's nothing wrong in using Python as well. Yeah. So which are you feel comfortable and which are used to, basically. Yeah. And then you can see the code which I submitted, and it's just more challenges, like you saw here. Yeah, similar questions, just like that. So yeah, this is how you submit a problem, and this is the difference between run and submit. Though you use Leet AI, which is introduced very recently. This is just the settings and on how you can like configure it. And then this is your streak actually. Uh, yeah, the wait, I'll actually go to home page and I'll show you what's your streak. Yeah, as you can see here, this is the streak. Like there are problems every single day. One problem they'll choose and they'll give. Like you have to solve that problem on that day. And if you keep on solving, you'll actually make a streak like in Snapchat or something like that. You'll get a streak, and in your profile, you'll actually get this green marks, right? So in this day, I solved like 4 submissions. In this day, I solved 1 submission. On this, I solved two like that. Yeah. So basically, this is how you solve problems in the general idea of LeetCode and everything regarding LeetCode I've told. If there are any doubts, please let me know. You guys have any doubts? How can you get these websites? Mean just search for LeetCode, like just Control T and then LeetCode. That's all.
We'll share you all of the platform links and everything in our community, don't worry, along with the resources as well.
Yeah. So we'll share you all of the cheat sheets which you can follow to get better at DSA. And like some guy in the chat said, it's always better to start early DSA. In back in my year, nobody has started DSA because nobody knew about it mostly. And in your seniors batch, like 1 year senior to you or 1 year junior to us, those guys actually have started DSA and have completed quite a bit. And for you guys also, it's always better to start early than late, right? So it's always good that you start today, right? So just take it slow, but keep on doing it. It's LeetCode is the most important platform which you'll need for interviews, and there's no doubt about it.
And also, I saw a query while I was doing my part. Can problems that don't require a loop variable but require a loop be solved using pattern matching and deriving a formula? Yes, you can very much do that. Every problem has different approaches to come up with a solution. You can do what you feel is the most feasible thing to do. And there's also a question about map function and split function. Can you explain that again? Okay, I shall explain it again.
Yeah, so I'll stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, thank you. Can you see my screen, guys? Is it seen, my screen? Okay. Guys, is my screen seen?
Yeah, it's it.
All right. So what map function does is it basically maps the data type into whatever the type of the list item you have specified. See, here first we have used input, right? So what does input function do? It accepts any value that you give to it in the form of a string, right? So that string will be split using split function. So what does split function do? It will split that entire string into a list containing all of the substrings, meaning this string consists of 1 and 4, right? So it will split it into a list consisting of strings of 1 and 4. So that is what split function does. What does map function do? I will be giving this list as a parameter into the map function. So map function will take in the integer data type and it will convert this string 1 into integer 1. So that is what it does. So after this function is complete, this will be the variables that will have these many values. So x will be 1 and n will be 4. So that is how map function and split function will work. So those were the two questions which I saw. And this is the solution. I think I didn't show you guys about the submission thing. You can choose a file and submit it here also and choose a desired language here as well. But I'd prefer to go here. You can click on submit code. You can choose the problem name and I'll copy paste it here. I'll choose the language which I want, which I have written the code in. Then I'll submit it. So it will be submitted and you'll get the verdict. It will keep running on different test cases and it will give the verdict. So my verdict is accepted now, meaning that all the test cases were passed. So that was the main thing. And any other doubts, guys? anything as such, related to anything general or related to the problems or anything as such? No. All right. Cool then. And also, I saw a query earlier which said, can I use these platforms for starting with my uh, coding journey or something like that? Yes, you can use them. But the first main thing is that you need to have a good grip on any programming language you would choose to be good at. It can be C++ or Java or Python. And one suggestion is that don't sit and start learning everything like from the scratch. It's like, you know what I did? In my PUC, I learned C++, and that is how I became familiar with C++. Even at that time, also, I wasn't that serious about competitive programming. I was like, I used to mug up stuff for the exams and I used to do it that way. And when I came to engineering later, I realized that, okay, so this is how a competitive programming works. And then later on, since I knew the basics, I didn't like uh, spend too much time specifically for learning and things like that. I started off solving problems, and as and when I wasn't able to solve problems, that's when I started learning about what I don't know. So there will be like hard questions or easy questions which you might not be able to solve. So all of those questions which I encountered, that's when I started learning concepts and strengthening my fundamentals there. So that is how I started it to be, and that is one suggestion that I'd give you guys with. So the major priority should be your practice and your exposure to many of the problems, rather than spending like a huge amount of time on learning and later not being able to practice at all. So that shouldn't happen, right? So that is the suggestion. Then how are you guys managing everything in college? Attendance, coding, competitive coding, clubs participation? Yeah, it depends on, yeah, actually it's pretty hard to manage everything, but it's just that you need to be dedicated, and you should put aside some amount of time for everything. That's when you will be able to manage. But college attendance, don't ask. It's lol. I mean, that doesn't even matter, I think, right now. But other things, yes, time management is pretty important. And yeah, are there any other questions you guys need to ask? Yep, 8 subjects per semester feels like so it would be, yeah, very much true. True. And also, guys, what did you feel about this session? What was your comments or anything as such? How was the session? Do you want to attend more sessions like this? What are your views on this? And we are open to suggestions, any type of suggestions you give. So yeah, put them up in the chat box. A good one. All right, thank you. Would you want to have sessions like this in the near future? And shall have with you guys interactive. Thank you, guys. If you could go back to when you were in my position, what's the one thing you wish you had done differently or not? I wish I had started with CP from my first semester. That is the one thing which I regret. I started in my mid second year and starting of my third year. So I wish I'd, had started early, because it doesn't matter if things don't work out initially and all. It's just that you have to get started and get a grip of it. Eventually, you will end up getting a grip of it. So you just have to start off with that. So that is one thing which I felt which I would have done if I were in your place. Then should I learn C++ or Java? It's up to you. For CP, C++ or Java would be a good choice. But for me, it is C++. For Suhas, it is Java. So it is up to your personal choice. Either of them would be very useful. I'm learning Python now. Yeah, great. I think you're in first semester, Prajwal. So yeah, uh, that was a good. But why does learning CP and earning
Yeah,
ranks matter even at all? I mean,
yeah.
it's
So
good
this
mention.
CP3, it's
Yeah.
basically promoted through all of the colleges throughout India, and especially in IITs and NITs. So if you have your own friends in IITs and NITs, you'll know that each one of them is very good at CP. So the people who are getting 50, 40 or above 50 LPA in on campus or through PPOs in like better colleges, all of them do CP and all of them have high ratings and they have the skill called problem solving. They can solve any problem you give, and they take part in competitions like ICPC or stuff like that. They don't much focus on development, but they do, and they keep CP as a top priority. And in other colleges, like better colleges like NIT and IITs, they focus more on CP a lot. And even the companies also, like Google, Microsoft, and all of them, they focus on your CP rating. For example, if you know about a company called D Shaw, it's a banking company, if I'm not wrong. They actually ask your Codeforces and CodeChef ratings. But there are only few companies that ask ratings, and not few. They're like very few. Like as far as I know, it's just D Shaw and Rubrik. But there are companies which focus on that. Yeah. That should answer your query.
And this CP skill, it is like a fundamental knowledge that you need to have. No matter where you go, you will be tested on these basics. Even in fan companies or any other normal companies you would go to give interviews for, this will serve as the base foundation, and it is very important for you to be familiar with all of this, especially LeetCode and Codeforces.
No, no. First year, I think the most important point is to build CG. That's all. That's what even I did. In first year, I built up like a very good CGPA so that you don't have to worry about in next years about CGPA. It's because in third, fourth, fifth, sixth semesters, it will actually be hard to score. Um, so it's always good to should keep your CGPA about above 8.5 or 9 is preferable always. Underrated skill. Underrated skill would be this only. CP. Most people don't know about it and they don't mind it because it's they think only lead code is enough. Yeah, on to be honest, lead code is more than enough for interviews and everything. But CP is more like problem solving. It will help you solve problems on lead code as well. If you have that approach and intuition which you have learned from CP, you can transfer it to lead code, which will help you like that. So that's one underrated skill, and you can also start learning web development because yeah, everyone knows web development. Yes, any other questions? Yeah, so in India, the competition of CP, yeah, it's very hard. If you guys didn't know, there's a competition called ICPC, which goes on every year, and basically all colleges throughout the world can attend this competition, and it's a very prestigious event. And I think it's been way more than 10 years or something since India won, or I'm not even sure if they have won because India is like lacking way behind. Because in other countries like China and USA, they start CP at a very young age, like in eighth grade or seventh grade, and they get good at it gradually. So they'll have a head start. We only do it for 2, 3 years, and we get only to some certain point. But those guys do it for years and years, like 8, 9 years or something like that. If you guys know, there's a guy called Tourist. He is considered to be the greatest of all time in competitive programming, you could say. He has won like 5 to 6 times in a row Google's Code Jam and things like that. Basically, He's like the best out there, and he gets offers also similar to that. He's like very good at CP, and any question which you can see on Codeforces or anything, which is probably he could solve it in a blink of an eye. Yeah, the competition is very high in India, basically.
And it's also about the years of efforts they put in. It's like 11, 12, 13 years of continuous and consistent efforts they put in. So that is what it makes them who they are, actually. I think we have answered most of the questions. So yeah, I'd like to thank you all for attending our session. Thank you for uh, staying till the end, and for your uh, comments and suggestions. Thank you so much. Please keep attending sessions like this in the future conducted by GDG and NSIT. And thank you guys. See you all. And also, we'll be sharing the resources and sheets link in our community. So stay tuned as well. Thank you, guys.